Hello everyone and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 276. Today is Sunday, May 12th, 2019, and I'm glad you could join me today. It's looking a little grim in the yarn room right now. So what you see behind me is the stash in Exile. And that I filled 4 medium-sized boxes with yarn, which means that I have approximately 12 cubic feet of stash elsewhere. I managed to make the fleece squish down a little bit more, so I wrapped it, or I put it in like another plastic garbage bag so it would take up a little bit less room. But the rest of it wasn't too crazy. So it was about a box and a half of yarn and 2.5 boxes of fiber. And then whatever I couldn't bear to pack because I'm not quite sure how long it's going to be before I get access to it again. As you do. It's unknown. We'll figure something out. And it's also been a good week because I have recovered from past knitting challenges. So this is my Inara wrap. It is growing. So I am past the point where I had ripped back earlier to add my additional row of color in between the blocks, and I am liking how that additional row of color between the blocks is looking, so that shall continue, and I'm now in the dark teal section. So I don't think I'm to the point, I still have like another garter ridge to go before I'm appropriately garter ridged, but it's coming along nicely. It's going to be a nice diagonal wrap when it's done. So I am getting closer to the point where I've incorporated all of the colors, so that's cool as well. So, I have my reddish purple, my bluish purple in here now, and now I have my forest green and my dark teal. And so I have 2 more colors to work in, before I reach the halfway point. But that I am past the quarter point now, so this project's been moving around fairly nicely. So I still have a pretty decent amount of the Naked Bruce, and then this is going to be my next accent color, and this is going to be my next solid block. But these 2 haven't been used yet, so not too crazy. And then I have a whole nother skein of this to go. But I'm gonna get into it, I'm pretty sure. So coming along nicely. So I'm much happier with this project now. I think I was just unhappy with it last week because I had made progress and then I couldn't show it. So except on Instagram. I guess it also looks nicer on the right side. So I am working in some of my ends. I don't have all of my ends worked in, but not too crazy. The ends associated with that color block there turned out to be really stinking short, so hopefully I can get those well contained, and we shall go from there. So it's also odd because it's mirrored. It's always mirrored, it hasn't changed, but whatever. So, coming along. And I did have a new cast on this week, which is cool. So, let's see if I can't get it out of the bag. This definitely did pierce a hole into my plastic side pocket, because I am in the section where I am using my signatures, and those are terrifying. So this is, if I break containment a little bit, it might be a little scary breaking containment, but that's what we're gonna do. So this is going to be a Rose City roller. So I knit this cuff while I was watching Hamilton, and then I had enough mistakes in it that I didn't knit in the second half of the show, but whatever. Ooh, that's wants to come uncontained, that should be bad. And I am now working a heel flap, so I'm knitting, I'll be knitting the heels and toes in, what would it be? So the main body of the sock is, there we go, let's start at the beginning. The main body of the sock I am knitting out of mustache yarn in the Martian rainbow colorway, so I have some leftovers of this, and we'll see how far I end up getting. And then I have the second color, this blue color, which is Blue Jean Baby. That's the colorway name. The yarn is Sheep Dreamery, and unfortunately they're no longer dyed, so unobtainium, but this was a sock blank, so I figured I would use 2 match things for that. So we'll see how far I end up getting with the rainbow. I had a little bit under 30 grams of the rainbow, and I had about the same of the blue, but so I'm just wrapping this up because it is pretty intense. So at some point I will get a chance to begin working it around again, and then I will resume my rainbow fun. So it'll be a little bit distorted because of the heel flap, but not a lot. So I'm just going to use as much as I can. So I got four stripes on the cuff, and we'll see how many more I get to have. There's a lot of different shades in this colorway, so I don't think it's going to be too big a deal. All sorts of pretty colors, so, and then once I get to the red, then that will mean that I'm out. Start the second sock, so I should have ample yarn, excuse me, I should have ample yarn for rollers for this, and I'm knitting them on my size 0 higher highs and my size 0 signatures. So this has been living in my bag. Since it's pretty small and compact, it's not like it's a big deal, but knitting some socks. So those are my only projects right now, or my only knitting projects. I do have some spinning stuff. I've been trying to do as much fleece processing as I can get away with, because it's stuff that I would like to be able to put away. But first I will talk about my spin the bin project. So my stash in Exile, the only spinning I have with me is my spin the bin stuff, so getting it done. This is what I have remaining of the Corriedale. So this is Corriedale that Gloria gave me at Rhinebeck that I dyed at yard school and turned into bats at yard school, and then dizzed into a giant fluffy ball. And so this is my last giant fluffy ball before the end. And I didn't bring any bobbins up to show. I figured it was going to be a little bit less crazy pants to bring the wheel upstairs, but it may be the case where I end up having a lot of this stuff here. Depends on the stash in Exile, that sort of thing. So this is how much I have left. I have quite a lot left at this point, but it's my current spinning project, so it'll be fine. The other thing was all of the fleece processing. So I did end up combing all of my navy. So it is a very, very nice navy blue. I'm amused that my darkest color was on my lightest base. And then this is my purple of it, but you can't tell. And then I started to get into the blues. And it's very, there's definitely a decent amount of purple in this. So this blue is made up of like teals and purples, but I think that this is going to make a very nice shade of fiber. I had a decent amount of waste on this, so I'll have to recalculate the waste when the time comes, but I can hold off on that like a little bit longer. Yeah, no, this guy is a little bit more on the pink. So I've done 2 balls of top so far, and I've split these up in such a way where I have 13 balls of this color and this color. So I ended up actually then ended up weighing out how much of this I had and put it into little balls like this. So this is a unit of fiber that I'm going to be combing, and then this is my comb full of that unit of fiber, so I think it was fairly reasonable amount of stuff. And I just like how this ends up looking after I get it on the comb. So this is ready to comb at this point. And then I have all of my balls up top, and then I see that it's like a lot of waste. But what would it be? I figured the waste was actually a better way to show the contrast between so this was the color before, and this is the color that I turned it. So I think I did pretty good in terms of getting it, because this was sort of a gray-green color, and then this is sort of a very nice midnight navy color. So I am not planning on dyeing the green remnants, but you can see all sorts of crazy colors in here. So after I'm done, or actually probably, I don't know which order I'm going to do it in. So one thing is that with the last 2/3 of the piece I've processed so far, I've combed the waste and spun a waste skein like right away. So I guess I did pack that up. It's not like it's a big deal. So 2 of my waste skeins are already packed. Whatever. Hopefully I'll be reunited with it before the end of the year. But so I'm going to go through the waste. I'm going to comb it again, and then I will add whatever I have to this bag, and this is all super duper short stuff. So all of the broken tips and the short crap and what have you. And I don't think I'm going to do anything more with this, but maybe I'll figure out if someone is interested in having it as like neps for drum carding or something like that, because it's definitely pretty sprightly colored and it's clean. So I didn't end up packing that because I figured at some point this was gonna end up, at least some of it was gonna end up in there. So and then I have my little woolly pelts from the hackle. So I'll probably end up spinning something with this. So I just think that this looks so cool because you can see all of the layers of fiber that I ended up putting on. So I like that. So that is there. So I might do something with that, and then I'll have like another waist gain or what have you. Or maybe it'll be the case where it's a trial to figure out how everything's gonna look. If I end up wanting to have 3 distinct yarns, or if I want to make a crazy marl. Not sure. Haven't decided yet. Probably is worth sampling. Excuse me. And then I think in the end I will have like probably 500 grams of fiber total, and that's plenty. Plenty of fiber for like a sweater or something like that. So I'm not sure how in the world I'm going to spin all of this, but I guess with it being the stash in Exile, I'm sure it'll be fine. I did have a pretty nice mail day, and I'll have to get clarification, but they ended up sending, Jenkins ended up sending 2 Finch shafts. I think they tested it on something. So we have this gorgeous white fiber, and then 2 different shafts. So I might still try repairing the shaft that ended up breaking, but I think this should be fine. Should be good. And then I have some sample stuff to look at. I didn't end up bringing that upstairs with me. One thing was that I needed help eating all of the gelato, so I'm going to be storing my spindle in a little gelato container after we consume it all. But I did appreciate the customer service. So this was Jenkins. They are pretty awesome. So now that I know, I won't screw that up. And I also just really liked the packaging a lot because they had all these cool, this bird tissue paper. I really love it. So I had to take a picture for Instagram because it was just so cool looking. So, yay. Not sure where I'm going to keep it. I don't know whether or not I kept all of my Ziploc bags. Maybe I should store them that way. I'm not sure. So, I'm going to be more careful. And figure out which one looks good with it. So I have put together my stash in Exile. So there's not a lot on this shelf. So my next big spin is going to be this stuff, which is my first combed fiber, or my first hand combed fiber. So I believe that it is Shetland. It was all sorts of red, orange, brown colors, but when I combed it, it all became very similar, ruddy sort of brown. So that is up next. And that I might end up spinning fairly thick. Then all along here, I have my Ginny fleece. So this is all very diffuse and all ready to spin right now. So this is one of 2 bags of the teal, which was the first color, and then I have, and then I have 2 bags of this more purple color. That looks reasonably purple on the screen. And this ended up getting a little bit more striated because of how I ended up doing everything. So there's going to be a lot more depth of tone, I think, in my last 2 guys. And then the waist is on top. And that is all of the fiber. And I ended up pulling a couple of things out of the stash to not be packed up. So, I have my Shibuya Boxy yarn. So this has all of the boxy yarn in it. So I have Pebble and whatever this other stuff is, the mohair silk. The Shibui mohair silk is a little bit more luxurious than most of the other stuff. It's a 60/40, so should be lovely. The other sweater quantity is the linen, and this is probably the more likely one for me to start soon. So this is Claudia hand-painted yarns in the Lone Star color, and it is this gorgeous, what would it be? Gorgeous linen, lace weight linen, and the plan is a vitamin D. So I decided that I probably should cast on the sweater quantity of linen before I leave Texas, because it's not going to be, it'll be fine to work with. And then I ended up pulling out this stuff. I'm not sure whether or not I will get to it, because I need a book to knit this project, but whatever. It's in the stash in Exile, so this is red and black for Knits for Beginners level 1, but I will have to adapt the pattern. And then I pulled out my 3 crazy skeins of hedgehog, so I have, they're pretty screaming. So if I'm in the mood for a shawl, there we go. Also in the stash in Exile is some Wool Mice Lace. I don't know how long I'm going to be in Exile, but the stash in Exile. There we go. So, whatever, this purpley one is going to be a Viajante, and then this reddish one could be a Hitafude. Not sure. It was already in the bag, so we're going to go with it. Life's a mystery sometimes. So I have decided that I'm going to do the dragon pattern, because I really like the dragon pattern, and just hold fingering doubled. So I pulled out my Undead yarn, which is sort of blues and reds, and then my Sun Valley. And I don't know if this is a self-striping or not. I guess I'll find out when I wind it. Yeah, no, I'm really not sure what's going on here, or if it's like really short colors when it was rewound. I'm not sure. But I think I'm going to hold the yarn doubled and knit a dress out of both of them. And then these two just wear along for the ride. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with having the bugger. And then I think I'm playing in Stella. Yeah, this is a 75/25, so it could be socks if I thought it could. And then the last component of the stash in Exile is all of my sock leftovers. I'm not sure if I'm going to do more leftover projects, but I realized that I had 3 bags of sock leftovers of substantial amounts. So, this is a vector of stash that I would like to make a dent in. So, whatever, some of these are pretty big partials, so maybe they're going to become shorty socks. Like this bag, for example, has most of my, excuse me, Find Your Fade yarn in it, except for the stuff that I used up. And I figured that if I end up doing sock repairs and that sort of thing, it would be nice to have, all of my sock leftovers ready to make repairs. So that was sort of my thought process there. Is that I was feeling the stash busting somewhat. Or that's why I put it aside. So, and then a bag of tiger fill for, stuffing dragons, things you do. So it shouldn't be too crazy. And then I'll probably end up packing up more and more of the stash room as time goes by, but we shall see. What was it? Part of this was just making sure that I had a good mix of things to do, and I feel like I'll be fine. should be good. There's at least 2 miles of yarn in there, if not more. Or what would it be? And then I'm spinning a sweater quantity, so it'll be fine. So that is where everything is. So that's my stash in Exile. It takes up far less room on the shelf than it used to. I was surprised. I was thinking there was no way I was gonna fill 4 whatever box of that. It's full. Most of it was fiber though, so if I am to decrease the size of my stash, the most fruitful direction will be to spin a fiber, because the handspun takes up far less room. So I had a box of sweater quantities and handspun, so where I'd be very sad if that was the missing, if any of that went missing. So should be good to go on all of this, and at the very least it definitely focuses my spinning energy directly to my bin, because June isn't that far off, and at that point I'm going to be fairly far behind on what my target was. So the other thing that I ended up spending a decent amount of time doing was actually washing all of my sweaters, so I wanted to get all of that done. I was also hoping to fix socks, but whatever. I can when the time comes. So I have 1 sweater drying now. I have packaged up most of my sweaters. The only one that didn't fit in a gallon Ziploc bag was my brown Shetland coat. So that was my mulled cider. I will need a bigger Ziploc bag to contain that beast. But the worsted weight ones actually did fit just fine in a bag. So I was able to fit 2 fingering weight sweaters per bag. So the sweaters take up less yarn, or take up less room than the yarn I used to knit them, so oh well, whatever. So things are coming along nicely. What would it be? And Think Good Thoughts interview coming up, so hopefully I'm filled with victory. Anything else? So I should be able to record next week. We'll see how much I get done, because I will be taking a day off, but that'll be for an interview, so whatever. Different needs. I'll probably end up taking my luxurious spindle project with me if we can finish off the ice cream so I can properly contain. I think all of my knitting projects are good for that purpose, so that'll be fine. Yeah, no, I'm not sure whether or not the next stage is sitting down and washing all the shawls. I ended up using the same water and occasionally adding more wool wash and more water. As I went, I just sort of had my dryer continually drying towels for the squishing. But shawls are a lot more work. So to reblock everything, like I can't keep an assembly line moving as well as I did for the sweaters. Like even the lacy sweaters, it was just like, we're laying flat to dry and we're calling that blocked. So I don't know, but that would be the next stage in the process of making everything clean before I put it into plastic bags for storage. But we'll make it work. Yeah, no, and just making sure that I'm holding things behind, so I'm looking at my massive pile of hats from my whatever. I put together a pretty decent donation pile. Not all of it has been knit in the recent past. Some of it I thought I had donated and then found again, so whatever. such is life. So I think that's everything for this week. We'll see if it's the Saturday or Sunday recording. Just sort of depends on my own energy and how busy everything is. It's been nice to have the Jersey Ripple one in town. And then my father-in-law has signed up for an additional week because it takes time to pack all this stuff. So, yeah, it takes time. So, it's looking like we won't be able to get the house on the market immediately. So, would it be? But that's something that's on my mind, along with peaches. I'm on Peach Watch now, where you go by and you look at the most delicious looking peach and see if it's ready to come off. Not yet. I bet the birds are feeling similar feels. But I don't know, it's a little bit early, but it's not too early. So for the one that's in the sunshine, it's definitely going to be ready much earlier than the one that's a little bit more shaded. So, oh no, that's the excitement. Alright, today, so should be able to record next week, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So take care, guys. Bye bye.